Let's go out to Nicole in Orlando. What's up, Nicole?
Hey, Dr. John.
What up?
Not much. How you doing?
Partying. You?
I'm trying not to freak out because I usually only talk to you like in my head, and now I'm actually talking to you now, like for real.
Promise, I'm way smarter in your head than I am in real life. Way smarter.
Yeah, that's why it usually works.
What's up?
Yeah, so I was calling because I'm really struggling on making a decision about if I should stay in my marriage just for my son.
No.
You know,
I don't even know what the answer is. But no. Why do you want to leave your marriage? Actually, the way you just asked that question, why do you need to leave your marriage?
Well, so we got married pretty much just because. Well, we definitely got married just because I was pregnant. He comes from a religious background where it was like either break up and not be together or get married. So we got married, which we were dating for a while, but I don't think I would have ever married him. It wasn't because of that.
Okay, but you did. So here you are.
Yeah.
So we've got all this. We've got all this background stuff. It just is what it is. Y'all are here now. Why isn't it not working now?
Well, the first time it wasn't working was just because we kind of decided that we were going to call it, getting to know each other better, being married. We were both really unhappy. He doesn't celebrate holidays because of his religion, and that was very stressful. But when pandemic happened, I never wound up like actually leaving, and essentially got together. And then as I was like really kind of trying, I found out that he was sleeping with the neighbor. So it broke my heart, and when I kind of got over the brokenheartedness about it, then I was obviously like angry. And, I asked myself the first time we were deciding to split up, like I was okay with it. I don't know if it's because my son was more like, a baby, couldn't even talk yet. Now he's 5. And I just feel like I can't picture a single day going by where I don't wake up and he's there. Like it's,
can I just be real direct with you, Nicole?
Of course.
This isn't about your son, man. I get that you can't imagine your life with like for a second. I get that too, 100%. Like I am unnerved by how much I love being around my kids. Okay, almost I have to, right? I it's strange for me. I get that, but this isn't about your kid, and I don't want you to make decisions right now through that lens. Because you're going to end up, if you leave, and some of the data tells me that your net worth will go down, your life will get harder for a season, especially. That if you don't get, I don't want you to blame a 5-year-old for that. Or if you stay, I don't want him to be the reason that you're miserable and unhappy. And that's the position you've placed this 5-year-old in. So I know you want to see him every day. You love him more than life itself. All that is incredible. You have to make an adult decision about an adult relationship. And he can't be the glasses that you are wearing to make that decision.
I mean, I've been, thinking about it for so long, and it's just like, I totally understand what you're saying, but like, there's other people that I see that do this all the time, and I feel like for some reason, like I can't like handle it. Like it's all about my son. Like I feel like I would put up with like, basically like a marriage to just, sorry, excuse my language, to just be, with him all the time. Like,
listen, if you do that, that's an incredibly selfish thing, because you are teaching him. You're using him as a pacifier. You're using him for you to feel better. And in the process, you're using him like a blanket. And in the process, you're teaching him this is what love looks like. This is what women deserve. This is what dads do. This is what husbands do. And you're just putting cinder blocks in his backpack that he's going to have to spend his whole life unwinding.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was afraid of.
It is. If your husband cheats on you with your neighbor and you don't want to be married to him anymore, don't be married to him anymore. But be an adult and you make an adult decision and live with the consequences of that decision, because you've already made the decision to get married to the guy. And you can't blame anybody. You can't blame his religion. You chose that. And if you choose to stay with somebody who cheated on you, great. Y'all figure it out. That happens all the time. And people rebuild their relationship completely anew. And they come up with something that was stronger and more magnificent. I don't want to say more magnificent like good thing this happened, but man, it recontextualizes what I'm worth and what I value and what I will and won't put up with. It just changes everything. And you get to pick that. But you're choosing misery in a relationship right now. And you're making it your 5-year-old's fault. And I just don't think that's fair to him.
Yeah.
What makes you think that your husband cheats on you? What makes you think that you're going to have to split custody?
Well, I know that the law in Florida is it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 state. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Will he fight you for custody?
No, he wouldn't fight me. I think he would be pretty agreeable to being, 50-50. It's just, that doesn't feel good enough to me. In a perfect world, if I could just have him and go, I would have done that. But I know I have to share. So.
Have you asked your husband that?
Yeah.
And he said, no way?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're both super in love with him.
So what keeps you and your husband from going away for a weekend and figuring this thing out?
I mean, I'm not totally sure on that. I mean, the reasons why we kind of decided to not be together in the first place, obviously, like, holidays are kind of a big deal. We don't really have the same kind of beliefs.
Is your husband willing to lose his marriage over these things like holidays and stuff?
I don't know.
Because here's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you got two people who are kind of dug in, but it's almost like World War I. Like they're entrenched in a position and the people fighting don't even really know why we're fighting. And you start creating stories about the person on the other side that you're fighting, not realizing that y'all are way more similar than you are apart. Usually, not always, usually in this kind of situation, one of y'all is desperate for the other person to flip the lights on and turn the music off and say, what are we doing? Because if there was no smoke left in this relationship at all, not one spark, I think you would have left. Are you able to tell me this thing is done, dead, and over? Or if he was to sit down with you and say, hey, I love you. Man, it's been a rocky go. We got in a rocket ship that we didn't even know what we were doing, but here we are. I want to make this thing work. Would you be all in, or would you be like, nah, too bad. You slept with the neighbor? And there's no judgment. There's no judgment either way.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to build a context here.
Yeah. I could see myself being all in, and that's kind of where I find myself now is like, do I make that decision to be all in or not to be all in? And, my top of my list is my son. So, if there's any risk of losing him, then I feel like I should stay. But then if I'm only staying because of him, then, it's a lot harder to think of why I would stay.
I want you to do some soul searching, not about your son. You know where you stand there. But it feels like you got hurt bad and you are scared to get hurt ever again. And so you're going to go to the beach, like wrapped up in a huge blanket so you can get no sun on you because one time you got burned. And what you're going to do in the process is miss the entire trip to the beach. You're going to miss your whole life.
Yeah.
The only way your marriage works moving forward is if you're willing to get hurt again. And I hate that about relationships, but it's just the truth. All relationships are a risk, 100% of them.
Mm-hmm.
The one way you can mitigate that risk is you take the lead. And I think your whole life you have been just being led around by the nose. Fair?
Yeah.
Doing what everybody else in your life wanted you to do. And I'd love you to take the lead and take this guy out if you're in. And now I'm pushing you one way because that's the way I feel like that we're going on the phone. I could be way out to lunch. So don't just do this because I'm saying to, okay?
Hmm.
But I'd love to see you take him out somewhere and get a babysitter and look at him and say, I'm not done with this thing. Everything's got to change. All of it. Me, you, what I'll accept, boundaries, all of it. But let's put it on the table. And either we're going to both be all in or we both got to figure out what being out means. But this halfway thing is killing you. It's killing your husband and it's destroying your son.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. I've never really thought about, I've thought about having a conversation with him, but I never really thought about actually telling him what I want for the future, if that's even possible.
Lay it out there. Lay it out there. Because the worst he can say is no, and then you get your answer.
Yeah.
And then you got to grieve your marriage, and you got to figure out what divorce looks like and all the hell that is. But there is a chance he says, oh my God, thank God. And I want you to have written down, spend some time. You may need to go see a counselor. Spend some time or get with a couple of your friends that you trust deeply. Here's what I need moving forward. And that can be everything from you got to get off your stupid phone to I'm going to have to go through a rebuilding season where I'm going to learn to trust you again because you were banging the neighbor while I was trying to keep our house together, right? I want you to lay down all these things that you need, these things that you want, and then he's going to have his list too. And you've probably been pretty cold the last few years. Fair?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So let's figure out what this thing's going to look like. Lay all these things out and say, can you live with this? Can I live with this? And it may be a disaster, but at least you have an answer. At least you're not living halfway, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because everybody's getting hurt this way. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Will you do me a huge favor? Will you let me know how that conversation goes? And let me tell you this, if you show up to this conversation and just start throwing grenades, he's got to fight you back. Go to that conversation and say, here's what I need. And here's what I want. I want to go all in. All in. Or if you spend some time thinking about this, writing your needs down, and you realize, no, I'm done. I'm done. Then take him out and say, I'm done. And we need to figure out what this is going to look like. And I'd love to see if you'll be okay with weekends instead of weekday, whatever. But we can figure something out that works for both of you. But let's stop living halfway. Either go all in and risk getting hurt again. I'll go ahead and say it. He'll hurt you again. He'll say something stupid. He'll do something dumb. You'll hurt him. You'll say something stupid. You'll do something dumb. That's marriage. And then it's going to be about, are we willing to repair? Are we willing to go back into the cycle again? Whew. Let me know how this goes. I actually have really high hopes for y'all. It's going to take somebody being a grown-up. And maybe that can be you.